Water activity is one powerful measurement. It's fast, it's accurate, and it helps you know your products will be both safe and tasty throughout their life on the shelf. The accuracy of water activity meters is verified using independent standards. What's more, water activity is the only water-related measurement specifically required by FDA regulations. Moisture content is a different story. Most of today's moisture content methods are either fast or accurate, but not both. What's more, since there are no independent standards for moisture measurement, it's difficult to know if you can believe the answers that you get. All of you know this, which is why you measure and use water activity. But how many of you end up measuring moisture content anyway? There are great reasons to measure moisture content. For starters, your boss, your coworkers, and your customers are all stuck on moisture content because while water activity may seem a little complex, moisture content, or the percent of water in your product, seems like a really easy concept to grasp. So since you've got to measure it, I'm going to show you how moisture content and water activity can combine forces, giving you both readings from one instrument and one sample. Let's start with how water activity readings are made. To do this, you place a sample in an airtight chamber. Water molecules are released from the sample into the air until vapor equilibrium is reached. At this point, we measure the relative humidity of the air in the chamber. This relative humidity reading gives us our water activity. Knowing the water activity of your sample gives you lots of important information. For example, whether it can support the growth of bacteria or mold. Today, most people that use moisture content measurements take one of two approaches. First, they dry their samples out. While this is relatively fast, it's not very accurate. This is because when you dry the water off of your sample, lots of other stuff gets burned off too. Incidentally, this can also make your lab smelly. Another common approach to moisture content measurement is chemical titration. While chemical titrations like Carl Fisher are very accurate, they're not very fast, and they require the use of expensive and bothersome chemicals. A new instrument from Decagon called the AquaLab Duo can change all this by allowing moisture content and water activity to combine forces, giving you both readings from just one sample and one instrument. Here's how it works. Every product or ingredient has its own unique moisture fingerprint, which relates moisture content to water activity. This moisture fingerprint is called an isotherm. Most isotherms are S-shaped, like this. Most intermediate moisture products can be found in this region of the isotherm, where small changes in moisture content are correlated with large changes in water activity. This allows water activity to act like a magnifying glass, giving you really precise moisture readings. In other words, if you know your product's isotherm and its water activity, you also know its moisture content. But isotherms can be painstaking and tedious to make by hand. Enter Decagon's rocket scientists. In 2007, these scientists made a probe that was used by NASA to search for water on the surface of Mars. That same year, they also invented the isotherm generator, an instrument that can create a complete isotherm for your product in about 24 hours. In fact, this instrument was so cool, it won a 2007 IFT Innovation Award. While you could just buy an isotherm generator, and we don't mind if you do, there are other ways to harness its power without actually owning one. For starters, Decagon maintains an extensive library of isotherms in-house. If we already have an isotherm that fits your product, you simply download it to the instrument, select the name of the product that you'd like to read, and in about 5 minutes you'll have a water activity and moisture reading. If we don't happen to have an isotherm already that meets your needs, we've got a process for that too. You take your sample, seal it in an airtight container, and send it to us. We take your product here at Decagon, run an isotherm on it, and email that data back to you. Once you have the isotherm data, it gets downloaded onto your AquaLab Duo. When you'd like to take a reading, put your product in the instrument and select the name of the product you'd like to read. In about 5 minutes, you'll have a water activity and moisture reading. So to finish, a quick review. While we at Decagon still believe water activity is the most powerful, useful moisture measurement you can make, some of you just gotta measure moisture content anyway. Two common approaches for measuring moisture are loss on drying and chemical titration. These methods can be either fast or accurate, but not both. The new AquaLab 4TE Duo can change all this by allowing moisture content and water activity to combine forces. The Duo does this through the power of the isotherm, which allows water activity to act like a magnifying glass, giving you really precise moisture measurements. What's more, it does all this in under 5 minutes and without burning up your sample. For more information, call us at the number you see here, visit us online at aqualab.com, or contact your local distributor.